A bright stage could not hide a storm brewing in the shadows. Naomi Judd, a queen of 1980s country, stole hearts with every note and every grin. Her climb from hard days to glittering awards felt like a fairy tale. Yet behind the curtain, a fierce fight raged that few fans even guessed. While Naomi's duets with Winona filled radios far and wide, unseen demons stalked her steps. These secrets stayed buried until the day she left this world, shocking everyone who thought they knew her story. Now, after more than 30 years holding her hand, husband Larry Strickland has decided to tell what really happened behind those famous smiles. Why speak now? And what truths we reveal about the darkest hours they faced together? The answers promise to shake anyone who ever sang along to the Judds. On April 30, Ashley Judd broke the silence with a heartbreaking message that froze the music world. Today, we sisters experience a tragedy. We lost our beautiful mother to the disease of mental illness, she wrote. The tweet shot around the globe in minutes, and grief swept through every fan club. Even while tears still fell, Ashley and Winona walked onto the stage the very next night for the Country Music Hall of Fame ceremony. The cheers hurt as much as they healed, yet the sisters stood tall in the glow of the spotlights to honor their mother's lifelong dream. Through it all, Larry kept his sorrow private, but that quiet is over. Stay with us, because the shock that ended Naomi's life is more chilling than any sad ballad. Larry's new words pull back the veil on a battle no spotlight could brighten. Before the awards and applause, Naomi's road began in tiny Ashland, Kentucky. Back then, she was Diana Ellen Judd, a young nurse juggling night shifts and 2 little girls. Winona and Ashley, paychecks vanished fast, and bills were hungry, yet music filled their rented house like spring sunshine. Naomi's warm voice floated through every room, lifting spirits when hope felt thin. The turning point came when mother and daughter stepped beyond the porch and carried their harmonies to school fairs, church picnics, and smoky little bars. Each crowd felt the magic and begged for more, slipping dollars into a guitar case that suddenly felt heavy with possibility. In 1983, a simple cassette reached RCA Records, and destiny kicked the door wide open. With Mama, He's Crazy and Why Not Me, the Judds rocketed up every chart in sight. Fame flared fast, but so did the pressure that hides inside bright lights. Naomi traded her nurse's scrubs for sequin gowns, yet the new life weighed heavier each day. Cameras flashed, buses rolled, schedules refused to sleep. Naomi smiled for fans, signed stacks of glossy photos, and raced from one stage to the next. Interviews, rehearsals, wardrobe fittings, and motherly hugs left almost no time to breathe. On some nights, exhaustion pressed so hard that even cheering crowds sounded like a distant roar. Then came a frightening collapse, a sudden warning that whispered, "Slow down," before something breaks. Hits kept rolling, trophies piled up, but Naomi's health tottered like a record about to skip. More than stardom was at risk. Her very life felt brittle. Doctors ordered tests, headlines whispered rumors, and worry filled every quiet hotel room. Still, she pushed forward, driven by a promise to give fans every ounce of her heart. Yet backstage, a far crueler enemy stirred. In 1991, the verdict dropped hepatitis C. The timing could not have been harsher, landing right when the Judds sat on the mountaintop of country glory. The illness traced back to her nursing days, and one grim estimate said only 3 years left to live. A farewell tour was announced, leaving millions stunned and tearful. Naomi stepped away from the microphone and charged into treatment, like a warrior with no surrender in her soul. She tried cutting-edge drugs, strict diets, herbal tonics, and daily meditation, refusing to quit. Even so, the struggle dragged on, and a heavy fog of depression crept in. Later, she admitted that some mornings of darkness felt endless, yet she fought to find even a sliver of dawn. Through these trials, her daughters shone bright. Winona launched a powerhouse solo career that kept their songs spinning on the radio, while Ashley lit up movie screens and red carpets. Their wins warmed Naomi's heart, giving her sparks of pride even as she wrestled pain and doubt. Love at home became the rope that kept her from slipping under. By 1998, Naomi stunned the experts again. She declared herself free of the virus. She credited faith, family, and fierce resolve for the miracle. This victory turned her into a tireless champion for hepatitis awareness, urging others to get tested, seek help, and never lose hope. But the fight did not end there. Mental health still pressed like a hidden weight, and Naomi chose to speak about it openly. She wrote candid essays, visited hospitals, and appeared on talk shows to smash the shame around depression and anxiety, especially for people who felt forgotten in small towns. Her courage gave countless fans the strength to say, "I need help," without fear. During her quieter years, she also leaned on beloved husband Larry, who became much more than a partner on the road. He managed medications, kept reporters at bay, and whispered encouragement when never doubt tried to drown her spirit. Friends recall late-night walks where Naomi confessed fears, then laughed at the sunrise because she still had another day to sing. Her openness sparked real change in Nashville. Other artists began sharing their own struggles, and new industry programs sprang up offering counseling for touring crews. Naomi's pain, though personal, helped carve a safer path for everyone who chases a dream under bright lights. Even with all that progress, dark clouds never vanished completely. Private journals later showed battles that raged when the spotlight switched off. Some days were bright, others heavy, but Naomi still pressed on, planning shows, writing books, and hugging grandkids. The final chapter arrived without mercy, leaving loved ones stunned and grieving. Now Larry Strickland's heartfelt tribute shines a new light on those silent wars. As we listen to his words, we remember Naomi not only as a star, but as a fighter whose song mixed wide joy with honest pain, and that human truth will echo forever. Behind every golden record stands a woman who refused to let pain steal her spotlight. Naomi Judd's legend is more than chart-topping hits. It is a story of courage that keeps shining whenever the world turns dark. After she beat hepatitis C, crowds cheered her miracle recovery, yet quiet shadows still followed her every step. The virus left scars that medicine could not see, and depression crept in like an unwelcome guest that never left the room. Naomi chose honesty over silence. She spoke about her low days with a voice that shook the hush around mental illness in show business. In talk halls, on television, and in her heartfelt book, she dropped the mask and showed the shaky ground beneath the glitter. Her bravery sparked real change. Naomi teamed up with health groups, urging them to push wider doors open so anyone could reach help without fear or shame. She shouted about affordable care, the power of community, and the need to talk free of judgment. Still, the fight at home did not pause. Every tweet, every sigh, every stumble was magnified by cameras that never blinked. Keeping a strong front for millions while battling inner storms felt like holding back a tidal wave with bare hands. Through every hard sunrise, two daughters stood like pillars. Winona's thunderous voice and Ashley's bright screen moments filled Naomi with pride that warmed her darkest nights. Fame tried to pry them apart, yet private hugs stitched them tighter than any headline. The public saw the Judds as a shining trio, but behind stage curtains they wrestled real tension. When Winona stepped into her solo path and Ashley soared in Hollywood, Naomi juggled joy with worry, trying to stay mother, mentor, and partner without dropping a single ball. Their 1991 farewell tour cut deep. It marked the close of the Judds as a duo and thrust Winona into a solo spotlight that burned hot. The switch tested their bond, yet love refused to break, proving family beats fortune every time. Health scares and mood swings piled fresh weight on that bond. Each woman coped in her own style, and misunderstandings flared, yet they never let a rough day erase years of trust. Their unity stood firm because it was built on real tears and real laughter. Naomi's private pain fueled public purpose. She turned her platform into a megaphone for better science, pushing lawmakers to pour more money into hepatitis C research. She walked Capitol Hill rooms, raised pledges at charity galas, and sang at benefits that filled clinics with hope. She also dared to talk about nerves, panic, and hopeless nights when the clock crawls. Her straight talk cracked open a door that stars once kept locked. Listeners who felt alone finally heard someone say, "I get it, and help is out there." That single spark lit thousands of new journeys toward healing. Naomi described every scar, physical and emotional, so fans could see the whole person behind the spotlight. She reminded the world that the mind and body share one story, and true care must cover both pages. Her message rang loud. Health is a right, not a prize reserved for the lucky few. That relentless drive reshaped her public image. Naomi Judd became more than a country icon. She evolved into a fearless warrior for wellness. Her mix of tenderness and grit pushed doors open for people who once felt invisible. Now, think back to your own memories. Was there a Judd song that carried you through heartbreak? Or a live show where Naomi's smile lit up the night? Maybe her bold talk about depression helped you seek help. Share that spark in the comments and keep her flame burning bright. Naomi Judd's final years were a powerful mix of victories and silent battles. Even as she raised her voice for others, she still wrestled with her own pain. But through it all, Naomi found joy in the little things. Her daughter's successes, quiet moment at home, and the unshakable love of her fans. One of her most emotional public appearances came in 2021 at the Country Music Hall of Fame ceremony. Naomi and Winona stood side by side, accepting one of country music's highest honors. Their performance that night held more than music. It was filled with memories, struggles, and the strength of their journey. Naomi also poured her soul into her 2016 memoir, River of Time, My Descent into Depression and How I Emerged with Hope. In it, she gave a raw, honest account of her darkest days. She spoke openly about her treatments, therapy, medications, and the difficult process of finding what worked. Her words pulled back the curtain, giving hope to others quietly facing the same fight. But Naomi didn't stop at just telling her story. She turned it into a mission. Her foundation, the Naomi Judd Education and Research Fund, was built to push forward the fight against hepatitis C. She wanted her voice to live on, helping others long after she was gone. Her final chapter showed the full truth of her life. A woman who triumphed in public, but also faced deep pain in private. Still, she never gave up. Naomi proved that resilience doesn't mean you're untouched by hardship. It means you keep going, even when it hurts. Her passing left the music world heartbroken. But Naomi's legacy didn't end with her hits. It lives in her honesty, her courage, and her fight to make things better for those who felt alone. Fans remember her not just for the awards, but for the way she helped others speak up and heal. Winona and Ashley carry that torch today. They stand for everything their mother believed in: family, strength, and compassion. Whether it's through their careers or causes, they continue honoring Naomi's spirit. Behind the scenes, Naomi was just as powerful. Friends and fans alike remember her for her warmth, her humor, and her ability to light up a room. These moments, shared quietly, reveal the full picture of who Naomi was: a woman who could fill stadiums and hearts. And then came the man who knew her best, Larry Strickland. Naomi's husband rarely stepped into the spotlight. They married in 1989, with Winona and Ashley proudly standing as bridesmaids. Their love story lasted over 3 decades, built on hard work, music, and deep respect. Naomi once said in an interview, "Larry and I are both from a family of 6, very blue collar. He worked in the tobacco fields every summer. My daddy had his own gas station and taught me the hard work ethic. Larry is the most humble person I've ever met." On May 15th, Larry broke his silence in a special tribute titled Naomi Judd, A River of Time, named after her memoir. He shared touching stories about Naomi's kind heart and how she never met a stranger. He laughed, saying, "Much to my displeasure, she would start a conversation with anyone who made eye contact with her." He continued, "We would end up standing 10, 20, 30 minutes on a sidewalk while she talked to a complete stranger about their passions and their dog." It was a bittersweet memory that showed how deeply she cared for people. Just 2 weeks after she passed, Larry helped lead a moving memorial at the Ryman Auditorium. It was aired by CMT and filled with music, speeches, and surprises, including one from Ashley Judd. She said the event was exactly what Mom would have wanted, thanking everyone who came. Naomi passed away on April 30th, 2022, just 1 day before she was set to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The world was stunned. An autopsy later confirmed her death was by suicide. She was 76. On May 15th, while fans celebrated her life, one detail added even more weight to the heartbreak. Larry and Naomi had been married for nearly 33 years, and just days before she passed, they had traveled together. Larry, a gospel singer, was on tour in Vienna, Austria. Naomi joined him on that trip, as she often did. But on April 29th, she flew back home alone. That was unusual. Still, she stayed true to herself, striking up a conversation with a stranger during the flight. Later, that very stranger sent Larry an email that shook him. The message read, "Larry, you don't know me, we've never met, but I was fortunate enough to meet your late wife recently, who for some reason only she knew, gave me your card. On Friday of last week, I was flying through Chicago to Nashville and sat next to Naomi. Being a bit of a country in Western Philistin, I had no idea who she was or what she had achieved. But the 90 minutes we spent together were entertaining, fascinating, and enlightening. It was thoroughly enjoyable. My life feels a lot richer after meeting your wife. However, briefly. Obviously, I didn't know Naomi at all. But I can tell you, she spoke highly and warmly of you and the life you shared. Rest assured, she loved you and had no hesitation in telling me, a stranger on a plane, just how much." These heartfelt words hit hard. They were the first time Larry truly opened up about losing Naomi. Though he had made a statement earlier, this tribute showed a deeper layer of grief and love. Ashley had also shared a short video a few days earlier, showing Larry leading the family in a gospel song. Another raw, emotional moment. Naomi Judd's legacy continues to shine brightly, reminding us that behind every smile may be a battle, and every story shared can help someone else heal. She wasn't just a music legend. She was a voice for those too afraid to speak and a light for those lost in darkness. Her spirit lives on in the songs, the causes, and the family she loved so deeply. If Naomi touched your heart, share your favorite song or moment in the comments. The legend lives on, and so does her impact.